Welcome back, CSHL fans, to the draft review and season preview of the Fall 2024 Charlotte Street Hockey League. This time taking a look at the B-League draft. We do once again have 5 teams, as we did in Winter 24. For the first time, it had 5 teams then. Second time here. But 2 of these teams are brand spanking new. The Race City River Rats, captained by Mike Warren, and the James A. Latta Preserving Church of the Latter-day Velocipastors, Acolytes, and Disciples, captained by goalie Nick Harris, otherwise known as Jesus. Hockey Jesus, anyways. Latter Raptor, Hockey Jesus, Raptor Jesus, I don't know. There are a bunch of different jokes in there that aren't coming out quite well that yet. In any case, 5 teams, 1 goalie captain, and 7 players did fall from A-League to B-League in this draft. And highlights of the draft. First one is the first pick. Baruso, goalie James Baruso, first overall, going to a team which is quite a spicy selection. Not a lot of spice in the A-League draft. Well, Captain Mike Warren put an end to that immediately by picking a goalie first overall. And hopefully that will not turn into a Rick DiPietro situation, especially considering James Baruso is from Long Island. But in any case, with that, and with Nick Harris being a goalie picking 5th overall for Latta Raptors, Charlatans and Flying V's picked their goalies, which locked up the goalie conversation by the second round, essentially. It was down to Josh Cummings being guaranteed to be on High Voltage. So, with that, High Voltage loaded up with all the players that they wanted. Chris Ward, Brandon Rios worked together. Director B-League Scouting, Chris Ward, I should say, worked together to put together a very high voltage roster that is the defending champion and could be the first repeat champion in CSHL history, A or B League. In any case, rest of the draft fairly reasonable and normal, and MVP potential. Dennis Dunworth returning to B League after 2 seasons with CDI, retired out of retirement. And he is reunited with his bro, Brandon Rios. Mike Rudolph passed over in A-League, but probably flew under everyone's radar. Mike could be a very significant player playing for Brandon Brownlow, who is another MVP candidate in the Flying V's. Joe Petrolisi, always dangerous from the blue line, putting in goals at any given time with that incredible clapper that he has. Chetan Arach, playing 4-on-4 in B-League, should have a very fun time playing with his teammates. Wayne Musigam and Jonathan Beachy on the Latta Raptors. Sam Rosentreader, definitely an A-League caliber player. A little bit newer to the group and to the game, even though he used to play back in the day all the time. But he would have fit right in, I think, with some of the A-League teams. So he should have a great time on High Voltage in B-League here. Carson Steckler, always in the MVP conversation, especially considering he's won one of them before. In fact, I should put a little asterisk next to his and Cheta's name, signifying that they have previously won the MVP award. Rookie of the Year candidates, the only ones, if you can believe it, the only newcomers to B-League are the ones that you see there. Mike Rudolph, Sam Rosentreader, Jimmy Vincento, very hardworking, fast player. The Brainerd brothers, don't know much about them yet. Michael Placido, Kyle Pratt, same with them. And then J.D. Henderson. J.D. is a younger kid, been coming out to pick up a little bit this summer. Very hardworking, good, fast player. Really like playing with him. Excited to see if he can make an impact in B-League this season. In any case, to go to the teams. First one, alphabetically, Charlatans on the clock. They're not on the clock anymore. First pick in the first round, Joe P's bro, Ray Jasinski, who is low-key a fantastic defenseman. Hardly ever puts a foot wrong. Very hard to get around. Very competitive. Very tough as nails. Played with like a broken back this season, or at least the CSHL equivalent of a broken back. Hayden Drake, coming off his most valuable goalie performance with High Voltage, is on the enemy team Charlatans now. But they are now the good guys. Joe Berg back on the Charlatans, won the championship with Joe P in Fall 23. He also won the B-League championship in Fall 22 with Waymer Cowbell and Captain Ethan Pinto doing double duty at that time. Haley Gordy back on the Charlatans again. Joey Petrolisi, the son of Captain Joe. AJ Lashak, having a nice little rec league with Waymer Bounce, and as become a nice little player himself. Michael Placido, don't know anything about him yet, unfortunately. Jonathan Heitzman and Jonathan Henderson rounding out the Charlatans. Previous seasons for the Charlatans, yours truly captained them in the first season. Barely squeaked out a first place finish in the standings and unfortunately lost in the semifinals to the CDIs, who ended up losing in the finals to Cowbell that season. Winter 23 did not go so good, but they did play the greatest game of all time so far in CSHL history. CDI versus Charlatans. Go watch it as soon as this video is over, please. Holy crap. It's so good, including the ref who was trying to help Alan Azali. He was a complete idiot, and that's what made it so much fun, too. Apart from, all the amazing hockey and plays and players and all that stuff. Fantastic. And then even better, champions next season, fall 23, and then back to the semifinals, a third place finish, that one. So the semifinals would be third out of fourth. Not as impressive as third out of five, at least, in winter 24. Projected lineups: Joey Petrolisi and Joe Petrolisi, his dad, playing on the same line. Joe Berg, so just, call it the Joes, I guess. Joes and Johns. Joe Berg definitely on line one, pure goal scorer, especially in B-League. Ray Jasinski on the back line there. Line two, AJ Lashak is a natural forward as well. He gets himself in front of the net and makes good plays. JD Henderson will be playing out wide. Not doing the little spatial representation with the players here as I did with A-League, because I don't think players are going to be focused on that too much in B, or at least A players might actually focus on that more. On the back end, Haley Gordy, Michael Placido, and Jonathan Heitzman would fill out them there. Excite factor. Excited to see Joey Petrolisi possibly breaking out. Not going to put it as a question. Probably going to be breaking out. He just had some NBHL experience. Anything underneath NBHL, which is pretty much everything we do here at home, is going to become very, not pedestrian, but a lot easier after you play on a huge rink like the 200 by 85 foot rink in Raleigh. JD Henderson, I think, has Rookie of the Year potential, so excited to see him play. Questions for the Charlatans: how good is Hayden Drake in goal, really? Sometimes it felt like last season that it was the ability of High Voltage to limit shots from the outside, but at the same time, Hayden is a bona fide hockey player and sees the ball and the game, more importantly, really, really well. So I expect that he will still have a pretty good season. But we'll see. Flying V's, next up, Mike Rudolph is their first overall pick. And then Brandon secured the near MVG goalie Andrew Mahosky in the second round. Mike LaFond in the third reunites him with his former captain. Reunites Brandon with his former captain from Fellowship of the Rink from the 2023 Rec League champion team. Jenny O'Hanley captained his brother in ice hockey, so there's more connections. Tony Trotman played on the Orange Badgers team in winter 22, so there's another connection. Now I'm running out of it here because Eddie Ippolito has only played on the previous Charlatans team, I believe, in CSHL. And of course, I don't know much about the Brainer brothers. Matt Stetcher rounding out the team on the back, big body, gets himself into good spots and has potential to knock in a couple goals here and there. Overall, previous seasons for the Flying V's, formerly known as the Nor Monsters, not so good. Jeff Kennedy captained the Nor Monsters in fall 22, but he was unable to really be there very often, and they had attendance issues, so they ended up finishing 4th out of 4, and then finished 4th in the playoffs. Next season, Brandon inherited the captaincy from Jeff Kennedy, in a very, very kind gesture by Mr. Kennedy. Brandon turned that team around immediately. But they struck some incredibly unfortunate luck. That's kind of a long story. They ended up finishing 4th in the playoffs somehow. Next season, they ended up in the semifinals. And then next season, the previous one, they ended up in the finals. So we can see the upward trajectory. Can Brandon Brownlow's Flying V's put it all together here? Projected lineups: the Mikes probably going to be playing on line 1. Mike LaFond winning faceoffs. 2, Brandon Brownlow back at the point, who can just rip shots. Still a top 5, top 3 shot probably in CSHL. Mike Rudolph, a fantastic player, should be playing along with him. Eddie Ippolito will be a shutdown defenseman on that line. Line 2, Jenny O'Hanley forechecking, and Tony Trotman kind of hanging out, whipping around some passes and shots. And then the Brainerd brothers will fill in with Matt Stetcher wherever they need, I would say. Tony back in a CSHL league. I did mention he was on the Badgers. That was the last time he played in the CSHL league. So good to see Tony back. Very fine player in and himself. Questions for the V's. How athletic are the Brainerd brothers? Because we don't know much about them, but according to our insider, they ran track, long distance track, I believe. So conditioning, cardio should not really be a problem for them unless they're really, really anti-explosive cardio. Then V's are kind of screwed. Well, not screwed because they're late round picks. But if there can be some good production from the Brainerd brothers, then this could be a really, really deep team. Another question: can Mahosky improve on his almost MVG performance? I think he can, because he did have some moments that maybe took him out of contention, but at the same time, he had a fantastic season. It was super reliable, super solid, always looking to get better, and certainly a winner. Wants to win a lot of hockey games. Good work rate for this team. Moving on to high voltage, the defending champions, Dennis Dunworth. A pure goal scorer. Not an incredible shot, but he knows how to put it on cage. He knows how to chip goalies and pick corners. Sam Rosentreter, very smart player, can spray around passes, knows how to turn his hands over in a very nice ice hockey way. Very nice player. Jimmy Vincenzo, Jason DeRosa, I want to see play together. Mark Kolchny, one of the old school CSHLers back in the old days in 2018, 2019, the first couple years of the league. James Weber is back and ready to whip ass running it, folks. Tom Ward is back, too, out of retirement. Couldn't stay away. Sarah Cuoto ready to pop in a goal or two from the outside. And then Josh Cummings as well in net. High Voltage have seen nothing but success so far in B-League. Reaching the finals both seasons, finishing first both seasons. Only champions one time, but that's still one time more than other teams can say. So well done, High Voltage. Captaincy has been passed off to Brandon Rios from Tom Carrero. A very significant passing of the torch. And I don't suspect this is going to be the last time that we'll see Tom Carrero and Brandon Rios playing together. That is referring to Winter 24. It might be something in the future, but who knows? Projected lineups here. I think Captain Rios is going to be up front for sure. Dennis Dunworth maybe hanging back, looking to expand the play, take some shots. Rios knocking some rebounds, or just Dennis grabs it from the corner, pops it in front. Could have Jimmy Vincento. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say his name. Vincenzo. What the heck? It's not even Vincenzo. Jimmy V, baby. There you go. Jimmy V. Sam Rosentreter will be playing on the back end just because you got to have Sam out there on the first line. But I'd love to see Jimmy V and Jason DeRosa play together. Thing 1 and Thing 2 for me. Love watching those two guys play. Tom Ward definitely going to be playing from the back line, looking to take some shots. And Mark could play in the back too, but I think he's more of a natural forward, as well as is Sarah. Questions for the Voltage. Can Cummings continue his improvement climb? A lot of people think that he's just a sieve of a goalie and super easy to score on. He's going to be the Achilles heel of this team. I'd say not so fast. Let's play the games and see what happens first. Plus, he has a shutout, and he has the ability to shut out teams, believe it or not. He's competitive and athletic, and can certainly turn a game on its head if possible. Sam Rosentreter is A-League caliber, but will he cook? Will he have a season full of offensive opportunities, and will he create as much as I think he will? I don't know. This was kind of a question more for Chris Ward to answer off air and then on air, but who knows? We'll see. Newcomer to CSHL. It's always interesting to see how they react when the lights turn on. In any case, not a newcomer to CSHL is Nick Harris, who's back for his third official season. He's played a lot of pickup, a lot of roller. Maybe not a lot of roller these days. Pretty sure he played roller back in the day. He's a ball convert. Plays a lot of ice, plays ice hockey, plays all sorts of stuff. Just fucking loves hockey. He is the goalie captain of the James A. Latta Preserving Church of the Latter-day Velocipastors Acolytes and Disciples. That is the full name. And on the turn, 5th overall, picks former MVP Chetan Arach playing 4v4. Should be a fantastic season from him. Wayne Witsiegman is the alternate captain, should be running the bench and possibly talking to the refs if needed, in the stead of Nick Harris, captain goalie. Nick Harris. Jonathan Beachy from the also along with Wayne from the Winter 24 Fridge Raiders team is reunited with Nick Harris to whip ass and have goals taken away from him, even though they went in the net. Thinking Chetta and Beachy will be playing on the first line together. Marcus Gia, picked pretty late, is low-key fantastic draft value here, I think. And Cynthia Clay also not a bad choice as well. She keeps continuing to grow and improve and is not afraid to go into the corners with anybody. Just ask me from personal experience. Wayne will be playing on the back with Marcus Gia on line 2. AJ Yasav, the noted goal scorer, unlucky in Reckley, but probably because it was too hot. Should be back on the score sheets playing with James DeJerson and possibly Kyle Pratt. Jacob Burns, Cynthia Clay, can definitely see them playing together defensively. Be a fantastic little duo there. Excited to see goalie captain, as you probably can tell. Questions for the Ladder Raptors. Will Wayne provide breakout bench leadership for Jesus? Breakout leadership is what I mean to say. Well, it has to be bench leadership, but Wayne, very experienced at CSHL, had to take a couple seasons off because of work and traveling and whatnot, but he is back and mingling as ever and could potentially have a leadership breakout and take his skills to the next level. Can Jesus win most valuable goalie? He, to me, is Hotch 2.0 right now. He just went through a summer of playing goalie a lot, including a couple heat strokes where he almost died during the Rec League finals. And ever since then, he was already on an upward trajectory. Ever since then, he's been pretty much impervious to heat strokes. In subsequent pickups. I don't know, maybe we've just been avoiding the heat a little bit better. The point is, he's been whipping a lot of ass as goalie. He is no slouch. He's competing against James Baruzzo, Andrew Mahosky, and Hayden Drake, who all had basically a three-way almost tie for most valuable goalie. I have a feeling he will definitely steal a bunch of votes. Could steal, if not totally earn, that trophy. He is the first of the new captains. The second is the last team of the 5 here. Mike Warren captaining the Race City River Rats. And speaking of goalies, as I mentioned before in the draft, shocking everyone, taking a goalie first overall and locking in who he thinks is, other than Jesus, I guess, because Jesus is already spoken for, most valuable goalie. If you're going to get a goalie first, you're going to get the best one on the board. And he got James Baruzzo. Locked him right in. And good for him. Barusso's a fantastic goalie. Super, super fun to be around as well. And then the fun thing on the turn is he took the youngest and oldest players in the league, separated by 50 years. And 2 fantastic players they are. Carson Steckler, who is gaining height. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but he's gaining some size, so watch out. Adding a little bit of size and strength to the already super fast set of wheels and hands that he has and previous MVP experience. Maybe we could see Carson with a championship soon instead of just some fancy individual hardware. Rich Wall, no stranger to competition, and is the man we all want to be when we grow up, including people that are only like 10 years younger than him. Nick Russell, low-key, very great competitor. Should provide a lot of speed and support. Devin Schletka, up-and-coming player. Matthew Bowser, just turned 18. Congrats, Matthew. Has a lot of speed. He leaps like a gazelle when he runs. He's got this incredible acceleration where, he just bounces and, is instantly off in the other direction. If he can control that, he's going to score a lot of goals. He's definitely had his moments. Love Colin Barrier. Lee Kavaikas is back. And then, of course, Nora Castillo on the team as well. Hopefully we can have some Nora moments from time to time this season. I can just see Carson diming here already. No previous seasons, as mentioned. Brand new team, Race City River Rats. Very much knocking off the Albany River Rats logo, but don't worry about that. Projected lineups, Nick Russell up front with Carson Steckler, I would say. On the back end, Mike Warren, thinking he can play forward for sure. He wasn't entirely sure at the time of the draft where he would play, so this could totally be off. But Rich Wall will almost certainly be playing defense. I'll be honest, when I play against Rich in pickup, I don't like seeing. When I get the ball and I'm walking down, I'm trying to attack or something, I'm like, God, I got to go through Rich. Get out of here. Goodness. So he's going to be a pain in the ass for the other B-League players. Line 2, Colin Nora, Matthew Bowser. Up front, I would say Lee Kuvaikis was on the back end for high voltage, and Devin Schletka tends to hang back as well. Quietly had 6 assists credited to him. He mentioned 8. That might be correct. This was last season on high voltage, his first season. Chris Ward's a huge fan. Can definitely see him having a nice season. What else for the River Rats here? Nick Russell breakout. Is this the Nick Russell moment? Can he with the 4-on-4 space versus 5-on-5 space? Can he exploit that? Create some plays and use his conditioning to put some shots on cage and win some battles. Questions. Can first overall pick James Veruso deliver first overall pick results? Possibly. Different goalie style than most with the stand-up style, but he does have great positioning and is always fun to watch and compete. Another question, can Carson continue carrying his team? I kind of said it that way just because it was alliteration. But in most teams that he plays on, Carson is the star. And does he have to keep carrying? Can Mike Warren be the star? Can Rich Wall put some shots on cage and be the star? Can Devin Schletka be the star just by spraying around some passes? Or will it remain on Carson? And can he, as young and talented as he is, continue carrying the teams that he's on? A little bit different vibe this time as opposed to, let's see, first season played on Charlottesville with myself. Next season was Charlottesville with Joe P. Next 2 seasons were Cowbell with his father, Mike Steckler. So now, totally different vibe, I'd say, with a kind of a, well, I guess similar vibe. Mike and I are about the same age, but yeah. Anyways, that is the last of the B-League teams. So we'll go back to the draft board and reveal the standings. Who do I think will end up? Again, regular season standings, not final standings after it's all said and done in the playoffs. 5th overall, last in the league, going to be going into the wild card game. I think it is going to be the Race City River Rats. It's going to be tough to produce when you pick a goalie first overall, and I might be wrong. It might be the same thing I said about the Bombers, where they just win every game 1-0. But we will see. 4th, I'm thinking Charlatans. Kind of had a weird draft and couldn't quite get the players they wanted. Ray Jasinski is great on the back end, but relying on Joey and Joe Berg to be your scoring might not work out for them, but who knows? Like I said, Joey Petrolisi breakout. Let's make it happen. If that happens, then the sky's the limit for the Charlatans. 3rd, I love Chetta. The Ladder Raptors are going to go here. I think Jesus has a great season as goalie. I think they have a pretty well-rounded team. Cynthia Clay. Let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, Cynthia Clay is on the team. Yep. So they should have some good success on the back end there. And then 2nd and 1st, who's it going to be between the Flying V's and High Voltage, who met in the finals last year? It's going to be Flying V's. High Voltage finishing second, just because it's spicy opinion. At some point, the Voltage got to finish not first at some point, like just like the Mala men. Voltage probably going to finish, but at the end of the day, maybe they will let in just enough goals to drop just enough points to finish second. Or they have that 1-8-6 shootout that turns in 8-8, and then they drop points there, something like that. Whereas the V's, I think, are a more complete team with more bona fide hockey players and hockey knowers. I mean, like Mike LaFond at third round. Mike LaFond, this dude scores goals and wins faceoffs, and basically you are silly. Scientists hate him. Figure out how, or click here to find out now. Mike Rudolph's a great player too. Anyway, yeah, that's it. B-League draft complete. Final standings predicted. They're almost certainly not going to be correct, but who cares? That's that, and we will see you in about a week.